Hey, welcome everyone. I'm at Giuliano Zuccato's studio here at his house in Detroit. And what a great honor to be here. And I'd like to welcome everyone to Giuliano. Hello, Giuliano. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Well, look at we did a great episode 172, and I called it the Mustang Man. Wow, what a
Well,
great episode! We went from immigration to your overcoming your challenges to inside the design studio, how you got your job, and all the great things you've done around the Mustang. And so I discover that you helped create and build the Chrysler Crossfire. And that's what we're here to talk about, besides a lot of other things. You know, it's my first opportunity to go out and to build a little mini studio in your studio and to hang with you and to hear all the really great things you have going on. So tell me about the Crossfire project. I'm so interested, and we actually have a PowerPoint here. And Giuliano, I have your face up in front of the PowerPoint.
hmm
And the thing I love about the title of it, it said from math data to a drivable test vehicle in 14 days.
Yeah.
To me, who was trying to prove to the world something here?
Well, what we're trying to prove is how quickly could we go from an idea to a drivable vehicle. And I had this opportunity with the Mercedes Chrysler combination at that time.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was not working for Ford Motor Company any longer, but I was working as an independent, and I had the opportunity to bid on generating the Crossfire. The project to do the Crossfire, as I said, was how quickly could we go from an idea to a drivable vehicle. So that opportunity came to me when I bid on the Crossfire, and the assignment was to generate a full-size vehicle, and I did this in Italy, and and so the way it started out is that I got the data from the town center in Auburn Hills, and it came from math data, what they call it. You know, it's a mathematical description of the surface. And as mentioned, we did it in 14 days. We used a system that I generated where it bypassed several steps. In other words, I did not have the need to do a mold and a cast. I went directly to the surface for a process that I designed. And so we did it in a shop in Italy. As I look at the pictures right now, I just want to talk about how do we create the model for the Crossfire.
Yes, love to know that.
Yeah. So it began were at the Auburn Hills Design Center in Michigan.
And that's the picture we're seeing right now, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're seeing right now are three clay modelers working on a full-size clay model. And initially, at the design center, the designer, there's a designer and there's a clay modeler. The designer comes up with an idea, but the clay modeler also contributes to that idea. And so we generated this clay model, and it was exhibited in in Detroit at the auto show, and it was felt that it's a good design. So mean the design center at Auburn Hills in Michigan, generated a full-size clay.
And that was on display at the auto show?
The no, the clay model then was changed into a fiberglass
Okay.
that look exactly the same as you see here, but only fiberglass.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it was really light, at the auto show. So management decided to go further.
So even though you were creating the Crossfire, they weren't 100% sure they wanted to actually build the car?
No. And at the beginning, no, they was just showing an idea.
Okay, I got it.
Showing an idea.
Show the idea.
Yeah. But when I could go back and say that the Mustang actually was an inspiration for the Crossfire because of the timing involved. They wanted to see how quickly could they generate a drivable vehicle in a shorter time than the Mustang.
Got it. Now, if everyone goes back and listens to the episode you were in with me, 172, let me recall that it took, a couple years to do the 64 Mustang? Was it a year and a half?
The 64 Mustang was done in 18 months.
18 months.
18 months. And so Chrysler, Mercedes at that time, they were together.
Mm-hmm.
They felt maybe we can push it a little further, see if we can do it even faster. And it was done in 18 months from a clay model that you see there to a drivable vehicle.
Right.
And which took, like I said, 18 months to do. The initial clay model, this is rather intriguing and interesting, was done in Turin, Italy. And it just happened to be done at the time when we had this tragic event of the 9/11.
Right.
Yes. And at that time, things were kind of nervous to say, if you're an American, be careful how you move around because you don't know. So it was suggested that I would generate this model and the management of it carefully, So I found a place in the Alps of Italy, and what I used was a castle called Castello Rosso, which means the Red Castle. And for security, for my own security, I manage the model making with another company outside the castle. And so what you see there is what we use to be more secure in doing my project.
I understand.
Okay.
That seemed to be what was right at that time in our history. Is no one really knew what was going on in the world, so you needed to be sure. Was it not only for your own safety? What was it for the trying to keep the project quiet?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No, that was not really the problem.
Okay.
It was more of my concern about my own safety.
All right.
At that time.
Okay.
So that.
So this is a picture. Is this an overview of?
See, this is the castle here, and you can see there where I did my work. If you see on the left side, then we see a pool in there.
Yeah.
Well, around that area, that's what I had my own little castle, and then where I had actually to have keen, what do you call it, to get in there, a pass.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anyhow, that's what I managed the project right there in the hills of Piedmont. Okay, we're looking here now. How do we begin the project? So what I got from Chrysler Mercedes are CAD data, which is it's a description of the surface of the vehicle, and that was designed at Auburn Hills in Michigan, and we can go on from there to see the next step. These are just what they call wireframe, and just again another way to describe the surface.
Giuliano, are those sketches or are those computer designs?
No, those are computer designs, and they are actually used to mill or generate the surface. The only thing I got from them was just a mathematical description of the surface, and then I created the rest of it in the shop.
Got it. Next picture. Look at that.
Next picture shows my process. What I did here is instead of doing a model, a mold, and a cast, I went directly to the surface, meaning one-shot deal, which meant that it generated the model much quicker and more accurate. So I used this process throughout the model in the shop, and it took us to generate that model 14 days, unheard of, because of the process we used, which helped us, go faster.
So in what I'm seeing there, was that a big piece of clay that a machine milled?
It's not clay. It's something that I initiated there. It's called a frozen tooling foam. That was imagined like a paste, probably 3/4 of an inch, that's pliable, and it's laid into a structure like you see there.
I see. Yeah.
It was previously milled, and then this material called tooling foam, it will harden itself by just being exposed to the air. So now you have a surface that describes basically that shape, but it needs now to be put into a milling machine.
Okay.
And so after that, the result that you get is what you see there. And you see that also.
And there's a front bumper done in the same way?
The same way. And that's why we were able to do it so quickly and then assemble it into a full body.
And there is the full body.
This is the full body of the Crossfire. And it's solid, outside, but we were able to retain the interior of the car, because I'd like to talk about the Crossfire. The Crossfire was a combination of the SLK Mercedes, built by Mercedes.
Sure.
They did a lot of convertibles. And so you were able to open this hard, what we call it, a tooling foam body, and enter the car. I think there's another picture of that.
Let me see. That's where you talk about the SLK Mercedes. Really sharp looking. Now, that went into the wind tunnel, right?
That's exactly. Now,
so you have an actual real car here. It wasn't. It wasn't 2x4s and plywood underneath.
No, that's what we were able to do by the method I used. So imagine we had an actual car, less SLK Mercedes,
sure,
and we stripped it. We took the existing body of that and added on this process, what I used with called the tooling foam process.
Yeah.
And in effect, after we stripped the original SLK, we were able to replace it with this tooling foam very quickly.
Got it. Yeah, a lot of different angles here. I love the idea that you could get in it and drive it.
Oh, this was a drivable. As a matter of fact, we drove this 100 miles an hour, not only for styling, but for measuring the aerodynamics of the car. This car was actually discovered they could do more things that they had predicted for me to do, and that included stability, soiling. There are many different tests that we do in the wind tunnel, because it's very important, particularly stability and braking. This thing, I believe, was braking 100 very, very quickly. It was, you could brake that car very quickly because of the aerodynamics. So the aerodynamics was excellent for the SLK, for the Crossfire. And so we did some very, very interesting tests for this car.
When you create a model like that and you take it out and you put it to the test, did you ever come back and say, we need to make an adjustment here or there?
Yes, yeah. The other beauty about doing a wind tunnel model with this method that I used is that the surface of this car it was not fiberglass. It had a dimension. Right now, you can see that there's a thickness, and if you hold on to that, there's a thickness to the body.
Right.
In answer to your question, is that when you are in a wind tunnel, you may want to alter certain shapes of that. And you can only do that if the surface is flexible. In other words, you can rasp it, you can sand it, and then you can alter the shape and to study it better aerodynamics.
So you could actually continue to work the outer shell.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, within limits,
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, how thick was the outer shell?
We did it about maybe 5/8 max.
Okay.
When I finished. So there was some flexibility which we never had before with fiberglass. We couldn't do it. So what you're looking at now are they called the spoilers?
Yeah. There's
The
another one. There's a closer look
yeah.
at the diffuser.
Yeah, the
and
diffuser.
then here's that wind spoiler you talked about.
Yeah, the wind spoiler also, that was done very quickly at the end as an alternate.
And then here's I think you said this is the temporary lift.
Well, this was the final that came, but it was a different design, I believe.
And there's the...
And that's the final one. I think that's the real thing.
Yeah, that was... I'll tell you, that's... did I ever tell you a secret? My wife always wanted to buy one of these.
No, eh?
Always. Loved the Crossfire.
Huh.
And, man, when I told her that you had a hand in that...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she was pretty darn excited. But we never did, and... so here's another picture, the carbon fiber Crossfire panels. Tell us about that.
Yes. This was a separate test, and it's because for engine cooling.
Okay.
We do that to measure how well the engine will cool. Well, so this time we did it with the carbon fiber. Remember that was selected that because of the thickness needed for that. Under the hood.
It was thinner.
Thinner, yeah,
Yeah.
for that.
Okay.
So there was more than one model made.
Got it.
And now we went into the convertible, So when I designed...
Did you guys, wait a minute, did you guys design the convertible at the same time you were creating everything else, or did that come second?
The models were done separately. They can make two models. One is a hard top, and the other one is convertible, because it got different needs. But in our case, my assignment was to First of all, generate the coupe,
Yeah.
and then prepare to generate a convertible. So how did I combine the two to eliminate an extra trip to Stuttgart, Germany? So I designed this way where as I build it, the roof, the roof, and the lower part of the coupe could be separated in very quickly when I come back to the shop.
Got it.
So
So you began the process knowing you were going to do a ragtop.
Exactly.
So you had to think about the engineering and the design.
Yes, and then that they like that, of course, because it saves some time.
There's another picture.
Yeah, and so that's your convertible right there, and
No ragtop, ready for road testing. God,
yes.
really sharp. And this was all in. Was this in Italy or Germany at the time?
This here is in Italy, right here,
Okay.
and it's a town near three of Turin, and yeah, they painted it red because they wanted to have some fun, the guys in there, and then the engineers at in Stuttgart said that thanks, but we need that black.
But
Testing.
you know how to design fun, though.
Yeah, fun.
You know how to design fun. All right, so here's a wind tunnel.
Yes. So this is the testing that's done, at the wind tunnel to measure this gets a little complicated and technical, and I don't really get involved with that. That's measured by different ways, but that's what happens in the wind tunnel. They put the model in there and they run all the different tests.
Sure.
And that's the area. That's what it looks like in a wind tunnel setting. You have a vehicle that's fixed, in place, and then you run the tests, and you measure all the air the way it goes through the model.
Yeah. Excellent. Next shot. Carmen Ghia. Is that where the plant was?
Yes.
Or the Carmen Ghia plant?
Yeah, Carmen Ghia built the models for originally the convertible for Mercedes. Okay.
Those are some old pictures. Great old pictures.
Yes, and it basically was about there. They never changed much, except these were old ways of doing it. But Mercedes-Benz hired Carmen Ghia to build their convertibles.
Oh,
And that's where they did the SLK Mercedes.
got it.
And so this now we're...
Love this picture. Now, so was that Zambuca in those glasses? What were you drinking?
Oh, no.
I just need to share with our audience that
Well,
Giuliano and I have actually shared a little Zambuca.
Well, we can...
Today.
you can see... Here we are in Italy. The project is done. We shipped the models. As a matter of fact, we have one of the engineers in here. Yeah.
So you got Tony, Bruno, and Franco from UCIF, and of course you from your company CI, and then Daimler, Chrysler, Johann
Schmidt worked for Daimler Chrysler and Mercedes-Benz, and he was in charge and directing the project from Auburn Hills. That's when I met him, and he hired basically for me to be responsible for building the model. And he followed me through back and forth, and so we work in Auburn Hills, in Stuttgart, so we did in 3 places. And at the end, when we shipped the model, now we celebrated And I guess maybe we had some Sambuca with them.
Maybe there was, and you know, I just did some math.
Hmm.
You were a young man in that picture.
No,
I'm being generous here.
thank you.
You were right, maybe 68, 69? Is it possible? 17 years ago, 16 years ago?
I mean, we could track it down, but I
Well,
can't.
whatever.
I don't think it was that late.
Incredibly talented. I mean, even to today.
Thank you.
My.
Yeah.
So Giuliano, you great story on the Crossfire. Thank you so much for that. Now, when did you leave Ford?
Left in '88
Okay.
After 31 years for
Okay.
a motor company. And I still had a lot of energy and a lot of idea, a lot of design that I wanted to explore. So when I left for a motor company, I mean retired,
Okay.
I could not do any longer clay modeling because it's done within the studios.
Right,
You know, it's
right.
secretive. And so I said, well, what is there that I would love to do? Let me look at engineering. Because with engineering, you have more freedom to explore things which are not tied in exactly with styling. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I interviewed with, of all people, Jeep and Truck in Detroit, and they were interested in some of my ideas. So I bid on a project to do a wind tunnel for Chrysler at that time, Jeep and Truck Chrysler. And it came to me with the Dodge Ram, you know, the Dodge Ram,
Sure.
the new Dodge Ram, and that was rather phenomenal what happened, because I was unknown outside Ford, and they were intrigued by my ideas. So the project was to create a full-size model of the Dodge Ram. And so they thought, well, you know, he's talking about these ideas, but let him have it, you know. If he fails, we just don't pay him, you know. Okay. Well, there were, I think, 3 or 4 suppliers that wanted to bid on this, and we bid. And so the project was to create a full-size wind tunnel model, you know. And they, the competition, they quoted actually 3 months to do it from math data from Chrysler. I did it in 3.5 weeks. And that opened everything for me for the following 20 years. I never stopped generating models. After 31 years at Ford, I built, as I said, 30 years, for a total of 50 years. First in design, including, you know, the Mustang and all those models, and then going to the engineering models for it. And that's when I bid on the Crossfire, and you know, the rest of the story on that.
And the rest is history. Now, what a great career, your whole life. And I just encourage all of our listeners to go back and listen to episode 172 and really understand that this man really overcame some incredible challenges when you were young. Now, let me talk about the Chrysler project, the Crossfire project. Did Chrysler give you guys all the room in the world? Were they involved heavily with you? What were any challenges you could share with us?
Well, the challenge is really, for me, was just to see how quickly could I take that math data, and generate it into a full-size vehicle, a copy that I could drive. I think we talk about the challenges in those days. I didn't encounter any because
Okay.
I knew
You knew what you were going to do?
I knew that
You knew what was going to happen at the end? Did you guys
Yeah.
work 8, 10, 12-hour days while you were alone there in the castle?
We need to separate, try to best understand that when you design a new vehicle, in this case was like clay model, and you have your challenges with engineering and all of that, which really I had no part of that. My part came in when I received the data
Got it.
to materialize that model, the Crossfire, in the way I did it, and by eliminating certain steps and shortening the process. So I didn't find any challenge at all.
Okay.
That I recall. As a matter of fact, I was able to improve certain way to do things, and most importantly, by shortening the process. When you do an engineering model, a wind tunnel model, you you need to understand the importance of how quickly the model needs to be done. The wind tunnel model. So my process did help that greatly.
Time is money in business
yeah.
world.
But one most important thing is, let's say you want to do a test that will last maybe a month back and forth, But if you find the shortcuts, then you reduce the time to measure the aerodynamics and all was needed for that. But then the big payoff is that you reduce the time all the way down to manufacturing. The fastest you can do it.
Quicker to market. Yeah.
Quicker to market,
Yeah.
And so that was pretty exciting. Then that I had a part in that. I'm sure,
we Giuliano and I met at Apex in Las Vegas last year. And I think within 30 days we had an episode down, and we've kept in touch.
Oh yeah.
You look at that jacket. Look at the emblem on the jacket, everyone. Mustang Club of America.
Yeah.
You have some lofty goals and ideas of how to spread the word of you being the Mustang man. And what has gone on in the last 3 or 4 or 5 months? How many Mustang clubs have you visited?
Well, a few around,
Out there, I remember you calling me from Florida one day, saying, "I'm down here."
Florida, I had an interesting episode there with the Mustang clubs of Naples and Fort Myers.
Right.
They were at one time. I don't know if you want to get into that, but
Please,
I'm telling
yeah.
you, at one time the clubs were just one, but then had something happen and they split, and they were not really communicating with one another. This is in Fort Myers,
Okay.
When I don't know if I want to mention this now, but this period that I'm going through made me think a lot about life and what it is all about, and then the beauty of being together and communicating. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if the two clubs would get together and have a dinner, So I had someone that made it happen, and they put to bed a tribute to me.
Wow.
And we had a nice dinner, and I did my talk, and then was a dance. Debbie was there. We had a beautiful evening and celebrating, life,
Right.
and forgetting about the petty stuff.
Wow.
You know?
Great wisdom. Great.
Yeah.
Very good. 85th birthday coming up. 85th. I guess you're planning a pretty big celebration.
Yeah.
And why not? When I'm 85, I'm planning my own too.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Right.
And where are you going and what are you doing?
Well, before my birthday, Davey and I, in about a week's time now, we're taking a cruise.
I bet you're going to Italy.
And yes, we're flying to Rome, and then spend 3 days there. Then we'll go to from Rome. We'll go to the Italian Riviera, Portofino, and all that. And then from there, this is all on a sailboat. You know, it's a 300 people sailboat.
Mm-hmm.
That has sail, but also has the engine, you know. And from the French Riviera, from the Italian Riviera, we're going to the French Riviera and the Spanish Riviera. So overall, I think it's a total of maybe 13 days, you know. When we get back, then we'll have I'll have my birthday party. I've written a song called Mustang Men, and so I hired.
Wouldn't it be really cool if you could sing that song at your birthday?
I'm planning to. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm planning.
man, is that fun?
And then I'm trying to hire interest Davies called, which you'll meet in a little bit, and she plays the guitar, and I said, you know, my lifetime now, I mean, I'd never sung in my life, but if I have enough sambuca, maybe.
I just want everyone to know that, I'm just checking the screen. We have had sambuca. We have had espresso. And it has been so much fun. And I know you're going to give me a tour of some of your sculptures here when we're done.
Yeah. I would say that if I look back on my life, when I left Italy at 19, you know, I encountered several challenges, and some pretty tough, but I survived them and kept going. But near it at 85, got a real surprise here.
Yeah.
Because it was hard to take.
Right.
Because of all the plans that I have.
I know.
To do, to do. And frankly, well, what happened is that I had my luck really changed this time in a very drastic manner.
Yeah.
And discovered that I have a tumor, a serious tumor in my brain. You know, it's really affecting me now. But I'm fighting it. I'm trying to fight it, you know, and already went to 5 different centers, cancer centers in the country. And we're planning to do more, you know, just not sitting around. And see if we can, I don't know if they can defeat it, but at least slow it down, that I can still function. As I said before, I mean, you can take my sight away somewhat. I mean, I can still see, I can read, I can write. Driving is iffy. So it's a big chunk out of my life.
Sure.
If it weren't for Debbie, I mean, you know, I would function.
So tell me about the legacy that you want to leave. Talk to me about the Horse of Destiny Foundation.
Yes. So as I going through this, being through this transition now, as I, you know, wonder about my life now, you know, I'm near 85. The number is important, but I do different quotes. I say different quotes. If you keep the spirit young, you will never die old. I like that quote.
I think you told that to us in our Mustang episode.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So as I pondered about life now,
Yeah.
and I said, what is this all about? Is it personal gain, financial gain, and but not for me. The biggest gain today is to to help people in need. That's my biggest goal. So, with that in mind, then I formed the Horse of Destiny Foundation
Right.
with the intent to help people in need. And I feel that if I can reward other people, I reward myself. That's the basis of it. And with that, I start thinking about a foundation, and then with Debbie, we work together. We work really hard to put together with the attorney, put everything that's necessary for a foundation.
The Horse of Destiny Foundation. I see the web address,
Yes.
horseofdestinyfoundation.org.
Yes.
And you plan to raise funds to award support to people.
Yes. The idea actually is very simple, is to, as we have now, we have a board of directors. They're all volunteers. No one gets paid for anything.
Okay.
We welcome volunteers. Let's say if you would be interested, let's say to do one project. Your project would be, okay, I have someone in need, and I'd like to propose something to the foundation.
Got it.
And that's simple. Then the board will examine it, and then when it is approved, then the rewards will be made to who needs it.
Right.
So it's that simple. But lately, I even thinking deeper than that, and it's the hospice. So I felt, why don't we start there? If we raise funds for the people that are dying, and the board examines that everything is real, then what a better place to start to give enjoyment to someone that may be living in just a few days.
Sure.
Do something special for them. So that's my goal, and that's Debbie's goal.
And Debbie's been working with you on this. Debbie, why don't you come over and sit in my chair here for a minute, and we'll introduce the world here to you. And I know you're working so hand in hand with Giuliano.
Hello.
Hello. I'm not sure if everyone can hear me, but introduce us to Debbie.
Hi. This is Debbie's call. Yeah. She's part of the board. She's part of the foundation. Okay. And I think she's a pivotal part of the foundation. And I would like for her to say something about how you feel about being on the board, and what are some of the ideas that you will want to propose for the foundation.
Well, first of all, I'd like to just tell you that I'm very grateful that I've ever met you and that you're asking me to be involved with your foundation and your life legacy. And I love you.
Okay.
And we have created this foundation together now, and we have decided that we're going to enrich ourselves by enriching others, and that's actually the best way for us to go on with life now. So with that, you formed the foundation, you're the executive CEO and director, and I'm the treasurer and secretary, and we've got Mike Consoli on the board now, who's president of Ponies in Paradise, and one or two other people who have indicated an interest to serve as volunteers on our board also. As you mentioned, nobody gets paid to serve as a volunteer for the Horse of Destiny Foundation. Once the donations have come in, we'll be able to take applications from people who need help. So the main goal now is to gather the donations and the remaining volunteers. We have a volunteer who created the website, horseofdestinyfoundation.org. He was very generous with his time and energy. Edmund Smith, we have to thank him.
Yes, that's right. And, but the steps that needed to be taken now in the near future is to tell the world about the foundation.
Right.
And I think tools are there, and I believe that the Mustang organization that's worldwide, there are more Mustang clubs of any other clubs in the world.
Right.
And,
The first donation came from Ponies in Paradise Club to our foundation.
Exactly. Yeah, that was great.
And Red Mustang Registry, the Red Mustang Club, is making our foundation their charity of choice for 2018.
The idea now is to begin with the Mustang clubs and use that as the vehicle to broadcast about the foundation, right? And
Yes.
so, for example, we have an event at the Grand Hotel, where I will be speaking about the foundation by life, and obviously, then talk about the foundation. And now the Grand Hotel Mackinac Island will also that event will also include 4 artists, opera singers, and some. And I did a similar thing 5 years ago. And so we'll repeat it on the 22nd of July. And there I will take the opportunity to talk about the foundation. And there'll be, many people that come from different parts of the country. And that, like I said, an opportunity to talk about the foundation. And of course, the other one that's being organized is by an Italian Mustang club. When they heard about my story, they wanted to do an interview, and then they said, even better, why don't we invite as many clubs in Europe to come and visit and give you a tribute in the same town as where I was born. So with that in mind, Debbie and I are going to Italy for a month, and I will have a Mustang, and my Mustang, and I'll ship from here. And then by choice, I want to stay in the river town where I was born to relive those moments where I grew up in my hometown. So with that in mind, the people in town are organizing, this event, and they want to pay tribute to the Mustang, and in exchange, I'm offering them a concert in the vineyards. I want to have a concert honoring the Mustang, and so at that one point, then I will talk about my foundation. So what I'm trying to do, and Debbie and I, is to make people aware of this foundation. more than just a foundation, you know. So today, with all the tools that we have available, just think how we can go global and talk about our foundation to help people.
Giuliano, it was so great to be invited into your home to have my second interview with you to talk about your challenges today, the foundation, your big 85th celebration coming up, and the behind the scenes on the Crossfire. And not too many people probably realize that you had a hand in that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Well, thank you. It's been a real gift for having you in my house. Thank you. So
We shared some espresso. We shared some
Sambuca.
sambuca, and now I'm driving home.
And now we will be sharing life together.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow.